Hey guys, Amy here with Leap of Faith Crafting. Thanks so much for stopping by. So today we are going to make some hubby and wife t-shirts. So we have wifey here and hubby #justmarried. So I'm going to show you two different ways on how to make these. Both of them are using a Cricut maker and cutting out a stencil with them. But with the wifey shirt, I am going to show you how to use screen printing. So this is a screen print, just got off Amazon, and a squeegee and some speedball paint. So, and then the second one, the hubby shirt, I'm going to show you how to use a freezer paper stencil. So this is just freezer paper, get at Walmart, anywhere. We're going to cut this out with our Cricut and adhere it to the shirt. And again, still using the speedball fabric paint, make that one. I have these free cut files over on my website, and I will link that below to leapoffaithcrafting.com. And there's also another site in case you don't like this font. But you just can go grab those and make these along, and super fun to make. And if you prefer one method over the other, then just make them both that way. But I just wanted to show you that there's two different ways to paint a shirt and have it come out about the same, super cute, won't peel off, things like that. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is cut out your vinyl. I used Oracle 651, and this is going to be on the mirror setting, so make sure to set that before you cut it out. And since we're going to be using this as a stencil, you want to weed out all of the actual letters and keep the extra little pieces that are inside the E and the O and everything inside of it. So then you're going to add transfer tape on top of it, and I cut it just so it's a little bit smaller, and place it down and scrape it down so you get all the pieces. And then you can take all of it off of the mat, and then you're going to put it on your screen. So I put it sideways because that's how it fit. So you're going to pull it off the backing and place it kind of as centered as you can, and then scrape it down really well. Depending on your transfer tape, mine was a little bit too sticky, so it took a little bit of time to get it off, but you just kind of keep scraping it down. Probably best to use a transfer tape like on its second time, or one that's not quite as adhesive. But just keep peeling it off and making sure all the little pieces stay down. And then once you get it completely off, scrape it down really well to make sure it's all very flat. And then you want to tape off the extra sides just so paint doesn't squeeze out that way and get onto your shirt. So now make sure you put a piece of wax paper or parchment paper or something in your shirt so that the paint doesn't go through, and center this on the shirt best you can. And I'm using the speedball screen paint. So just put a little bit up at the top there. And then just use your squeegee and scrape it down. And you'll see that all the letters start getting filled in. Try to keep it as even and get both sides as much as you can. And then gently pull it up. And you have a beautiful screen printed shirt. So you want to make sure this dries fully, and then you want to heat press it. So I just used my easy press and pressed it for about 45 seconds. You can also use a heat press or an iron and press it for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then it's ready to go. So we're going to be using freezer paper, and you can find this at Walmart or anywhere. And we're going to be putting it shiny side down. You'll see there's two different kind of sides. One's little matte, one's shiny. So put the shiny side down, lay it down real flat, and just cut it to the size you need. And then I scrape it down real well so that it doesn't come up. So then insert your mat and cut it out. And there is, if you're using Cricut Design Space with an Explorer or Maker, there is a setting for freezer paper. So I just set mine to freezer paper and let it go. So once it comes out, you're going to use this as a stencil. So you're going to peel out all of the letters inside, but leave all of the extra little pieces inside the B's and the E's. The smaller letters are going to be a little bit tricky. Sometimes they want to come up, so I just push them down with my finger as I lift them. And then you're going to get your shirt ready. And I'm using my easy press, but probably an iron is actually easier for this part, but I just had my easy press handy. So I'm just getting a little warm and to straighten it out there. And then I'm going to slowly peel off the freezer paper here. And all the extra pieces are going to stay on the mat, and that is fine. So you're going to pull it off and then put it on your paper and put it on your shirt and center it where you want. And I used a ruler just to kind of get it in the center there and get it straight. And then once you have it, use your iron or an easy press and just gently start pushing it down. And that shiny side, which is a plastic side, will start melting into your shirt, which makes it adhere. So like I said, you can just use an iron and just go over all the little pieces. And then you're going to have to put all those little extra pieces back in. So just start laying them in place. And like I said, if you're using an iron, you can do, I did the big ones first and then press those down with my easy press. Or you can use an iron and do them one at a time, whichever is easier for you. And then you got to put all those little pieces inside, which sometimes are a little tricky to get exactly right in the center there. But just get them as good as you can. And then press them all down again. So that freezer paper forms a seal with the shirt. So then you want to put something inside your shirt so the paint won't go through. So you can use wax paper or parchment paper or a piece of cardboard, whatever you have, and just stick it inside your shirt. And then I'm going to be using the Speedball screen printing paint, and you can get this on Amazon. And there's two different ways. You can use a dauber if you have one and just kind of daub it up and down. The paint's kind of thick, so this is a little bit tougher to do. And while I was doing it, some of the letters started coming up. So I just switched to a brush. And a flat paint brush is fine too. Just do it a little bit slowly so you don't pull up any of the little pieces. But just go over it, try to get it as even as you can. So one drawback of doing it this way is the paint is not all even all over. And just keep going until you have all of the black painted in. So once it's all done, you're going to let it dry for a little bit. I get a little impatient and probably take it off a little bit too soon. But once you're ready to take it off, you're just gonna slowly start peeling up the edges. Just try not to let that paint fold back on itself and get it on the shirt. And you can just hold the shirt down while you pull it up, and it comes up really easy. And once you have the big part off, that's gonna be full of paint, so throw it away. Then I just use my weeding tool and come back and carefully pull up an edge, and then with my fingers grab the rest of it, and then always wipe off the weeding tool in between this, because you'll get paint on it if your paint's still wet. And then if you go to put that on your shirt, you're gonna get paint on your shirt. So I pull it up and then wipe it off. And then again, getting the big ones and then all those little pieces. So now you're gonna let this fully dry. And once it's fully dry, you need to heat set it. So again, I use my easy press, but you can easily use an iron. And I set mine to 325 and just pressed it for 45 seconds. You can always use an iron and press it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Just keep going over it to heat set it so it doesn't come off. And that's all there is to this.